Good morning everyone, welcome to our Tuesday morning clinical Pilates class. This is a 3 areas class. It's going to be shoulders, it's going to be the trunk and it's going to be the hips today. You are going to need some hand weights with you. Mine are 0.5 kilograms, so if you want something a little bit heavier you can, or if you don't want to use any weights at all, that's absolutely fine. If you haven't got any weights, see if you've got any tinned food in the cupboard that you can use. So placing your feet hip distance apart, nice soft knees. Growing tall towards the ceiling, keeping that peach tucked underneath your chin. Wide collarbones, shoulder blades connecting down towards your back pockets. Finding that neutral spine, so a couple of pelvic tilts forwards and backwards to find that nice mid position. And then drawing in lower abdominals, a little lift up through your pelvic floor to center. So starting with our big shoulder rolls. And then floating those arms up in front of you, palms facing down, elbow to your back wall, big reaches. Sweeping those hands around into our corkscrew. So elevation and depression of those shoulder blades, lift, lower, and then sweep around with those arms. Make this next one you do the last one. And then stretching that head across to the side. And then swapping to the other side. So make sure that it's the head that does the work, the head and neck, and it's not the body that leans with this stretch. Coming all the way into our roll down. So chin down towards your chest, feeling that stretch at the back of the neck first, and then start peeling each spinal bone forwards in order, lengthening through the back of your legs. Taking a deep breath in when you get as far down as you can, and then breath out, tucking that tailbone under, stacking each spinal bone back on top. Chin is the last thing to lift. And go again. And last one. So hold this last one just that little bit longer if you need to. Feel that lovely stretch, hamstrings into that lower back. And then stepping across to the side. Taking that leg behind just into our curtsy lunges. And then coming into reverse. So keeping that pelvis nice and level, nice and strong through that core. And then a nice big through range squats for me. So widening through your stance, pointing your toes out 10 to 2, all the way down, pushing those hips forwards. Squeezing those glutes, 2 more. And then coming into heel kick, so hamstring curls, sorry. So kicking those heels in towards your bottom, working left to right. And then toy soldier, sweeping all the way through. Finishing off with walking. That's it, so nice little bit of load and ankle mobility to finish. And relaxing down, well done. So we're going to get into combination exercise first of all, a little bit on the hips and also a little bit on the arms as well. So from here, I want you to be in quite a wide stance position. As you come over to one side for sort of it's a side lunge basically, you're going to feel the length into your adductors here, and you are going to bicep curl, and then you are going to swap to the other side. So just keep working left to right. Feel that tension into your adductors. If you don't feel enough of the stretch to the inner thighs, just widen through your stance a little bit more. Lovely. So last week I did tell you that Hugo had gone on his first residential, stopped over for the night. Got this horrible lump in my throat on Thursday morning that, I was going to miss him, and, it just didn't feel right as a mother. So he had an absolutely lovely time. He was fine. And then when we picked him up on Friday, we went straight to Robin Hood's Bay. So I picked him up from school, went straight to Robin Hood's Bay. And as we stopped off for something to eat, Ben, his dad, went to the toilet. And he just came over and gave me the biggest hug. And he just said, "I've really missed you." And I was like, "Oh, Hugo, don't make me cry again." So it's nice that he's missed you. It's also good that he's had that little bit of independence. It's a good thing for them. So as you return back up into standing, just make sure you get that little bit of connection through your bottom, little push forwards of those glutes. We are going to do 4 more, 2 to each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from here again, we're going to do shoulders and hips together. So we're going to take one leg back and then return. I want you to do 5 on one side, 5 on the other, and keep swapping from left to right. So as you take those arms back, you're going to squeeze between the shoulder blades. So imagine as though you've got a pencil in the middle of your spine, and you're trying to nip it with your shoulder blades every single time, okay? So try not to be too dominant with the what's called extension of the shoulders. So try not to make sure that the shoulders do all the work. Make sure you're getting that retraction as well through the shoulder blade. So we want shoulder extension. We also want scapular retraction at the same time. So really important, particularly if you're having you've got quite a rounded posture like this, we're going to be telling those shoulder blades to be in the better posture and position, okay, to stop that roundedness. So as I say, 5 on one side, 5 on the other. Keep swapping left to right. Lovely. Keep with that breath pattern. Exhale, reach. Inhale, return. Slightly bent on that standing leg. Light on the leg that's moving. So you're just going to toe touch behind you, toe touch back to that same position again. Okay, so try not to fully weight bear down on that moving leg. We're going to be placing a lot of pressure down on this standing leg. So you're going to feel it around the lateral side of your hip joint here with the stability that's required to hold that single leg stance. When you get back to your first side, last round, left to right. Lovely. So again, combination exercise. We are going to do hips and shoulders together. We're going to come down into squats, into a shoulder press. So you're going to keep the weights, whether they are the balls, whether they are hand weights, whether they are tinned food. In this position, you're going to come down into a squat. As you return into standing, you are going to shoulder press. So use that squat position, low down, weight on those heels, pushing those shoulders nice and high. So at the weekend, anyone who follows me on social media will know what I've been up to. So yes, I have been in Robin Hood's Bay, but we also went across to Scarborough. And the children wanted to go on the fairground ride, so, which is fine, but Hugo's getting a little bit older now and he's a bit more intrigued by the more crazier ones. And he was like, oh, mummy, please, can you come on this ride with me? I'm kidding you not, this ride was like going up and down, like round in a circle. It was hideous, basically. So I was like, oh, do you want to go on, Ben? He's like, no, I don't want to go. And I was like, oh, right, I'll take one for the team then. So I went on this ride and Ben recorded me. Oh, you should have seen my face. I don't like the feeling of falling as it is. The entire ride was about that horrible feeling in your tummy that makes you, oh, it was awful, awful. So anyway, I got off this ride and I'm sure my vestibular system is too old to deal with that nowadays. I was like this. I was like, Hugo was like, can we go on this again? I was like, no, we're not going on that again. So yeah, if you want a giggle, I did put the close-up picture of me looking pretty scared on social media on this ride. Three more here. 2, 3. Lovely, and then coming into standing. So just the shoulders on their own, feet hip distance apart, breath out to raise, breath in to lower. Now think about posture and position. Okay, so if you're quite rounded like this, head poking forwards, just stop, reset yourself. Think about that length through the crown of your head, growing nice and tall, that little lift up through your breastbone, nice smiley collarbones across the front, and then do the work. The more we tell our bodies to be in the right position, the more they'll automatically do it day to day. The more we don't tell it to do that, the more gravity takes hold of our posture and it goes the other way. Keep that length, keep that little tuck down of that tailbone, that draw in through your core. Two more. Holding your arms out, you're going to turn your palms upwards. We're going to include some static shoulder work with some rotational trunk work. So from here, Breath out to twist, breath in to return. Breath out to twist, breath in to return. And it is just your trunk that's doing the work. Try not to bring your arms across the body. Okay, so think about you having like a rod down the back, okay? And you're holding it either side, so those arms cannot come forwards. So I would like you to do maximum of 6 twists. So 3 left to right, and then take those arms down for a little rest, because there is no way you're going to want to keep your arms up here all that time. So the weight of these balls as well is also going to give you a nice little bit of overpressure, a little bit of momentum with each twist that you do to create that nice rotational stretch through your spine. Those arms a shake when you have a rest. Straight back into it again. So do not let those shoulders start lifting and elevating up towards your ears. One more round when you come back up. Round of 6. 1, 2. With that breath pattern, nice, smooth, controlled movement. So these balls get really, or the weights you've been using, get very heavy very quickly when we do those ones. So you're going to take the weights, you're going to put them to one side, you're going to come and lie on your back. So nice rotational mobility through the spine. So ankles together, knees together, arms out to the sides, palms facing upwards. So when you return back to that central point, just make sure that you're in neutral. You're not overarched through your lower back. You're not lifting and elevating up through those ribs. Keep the ribs softened down. Keep that tailbone tucked down to keep your back close to the mat, but not so that it's pushing down into the mat. One more left to right. Hopefully you've noticed that little bit of change in your trunk's mobility. And then we're going to stretch around our hips. So taking one leg across. From here you can either hold, or you can push this knee away or pull this thigh towards you. So you can lift up, you can raise the body up, or you can relax it back down on the mat. And swap into the other side. So again, if you notice that one side is stiffer than the other, obviously you come to classes, you do the classes weekly, but if there is a particular hip exercise that's you're struggling more so on one side than the other, just stretch that one side just to create balance again from left to right. Or if it's starting to show signs of wear and tear and a bit more degeneration, just keep on top of it, because they are degenerative conditions. They're going to keep fighting against you. So you've got to keep fighting back with that mobility and telling those joints to stay as flexible as possible. And relaxing down, well done. So linking your fingers together, cradling the back of your head, simple abdo prep, so crunching into that trunk, flexing that trunk, loading our big rectus abdominis muscle down the center here, so that's our six-pack muscle. Deep breath in as you get to the bottom again, breath out to crunch. Anyone who wants to make this more challenging, I don't mind you being in single leg tabletop. If you are, just do 5 on one side and then 5 on the other, keep swapping left to right. If you want to make this even more of a challenge, you're going to be in your double leg tabletop posture. Three more here. 1, 2, 3. Taking one leg down, then the other to follow. Straightening out those legs. You are going to lift one knee up into a tabletop position, and then with the opposite hand, you're going to pull it all the way across, twisting and turning your pelvis onto its side, and then with the opposite arm, you are going to reach away and look to that arm with the head as well. So just hold that really nice rotational stretch through the trunk. And swap into the other side. So lengthening out that leg, tabletop position, opposite hand, pulling all the way across. If you need to shuffle around, you can, and then reach to that side, look into that hand. And then coming back to the center for me, you're going to come into a side lying position. So thick head block on top of your thin one. If you haven't got one of these, obviously a cushion or a pillow, something that's going to support the side of your head. Now, we have got options with or without a weight for these exercises. So I'll show you with, and then if you think I'm not doing that this morning, Amy, that's absolutely fine. You can do the same movement patterns without. So you are going to place your weight between your feet, a little bit of added pressure to that underside hip. You are going to be in your nice side lying position, so make sure you've got a gap underneath here and you're not side slumped. Okay, so push that hip away, create that length through the spine. Keep the feet hovered, breath out to raise, breath in to lower. So obviously, as you can see, if you just put your feet together and don't use anything, it's still going to do the same movement pattern, just with a little less load. Keep pushing for me. We are going to do 5 more here. So if you've got the weight, you're going to definitely be feeling this now. And then once you've done that 5th one, you are going to straighten out your legs. Obviously, if you've got the weight there, keep it there. If you've not, just keep your feet together. You are going to lift and lower both legs together. So you're going to be working that inner thigh muscle for your hip. Breath out, raise, breath into lower. So keep with that nice breath pattern. Exhale, raise. Inhale, lower. So keep pushing with that underside leg. Make sure it stays long. Do not want to be having a bend in that knee. Three more. 1, 2, and 3. Well done. Taking that weight out for me, swapping around to the other side. So back into our clams again, with or without the weight, but it is level 2 exercise that we're going to be doing. So when we're in our side lying posture, again, just make sure we are not side flexing the trunk. Okay, so when we're in this posture, we should be raising and lifting just to the side of the trunk so that it isn't in this posture when we're in side lying. Okay, so heels in line with the spine, obviously making sure that that weight is between the feet if you want. Breath out, raise, breath in, lower. So remember that recruitment all the time. Drawing in transverse abdominis across the front of this pelvis here. Keep that connection on, building up its endurance all the time, and then letting that strength occur around those hip joints into external rotation. Keep with it, everyone. I can still see those knees moving, which is a good sign. We're going to do 5 more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well done. So lengthening out through those legs. Keep those feet nice and tight together. Keep that weight between the feet if you're using it. Again, remember, as we lift and lower, we want a really strong, stable core, because as we raise, we want all the load to go around our hips. We don't want anything gripping and creating loads of tension, tightness to the side of the trunk here, okay? So don't lift them too high that you feel that need to over-recruit to the side of the trunk here. Keep bracing and drawing in your core nice and tight. Use that underside leg. Really push that weight upwards rather than using this hip and this side of the pelvis to get the lift. Keep using that underside leg, keep pushing. 5 more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well done. Taking that weight to one side. So from here, we're going to come back into abs, but we are going to use hip and shoulder at the same time, but you should feel it a little bit more so around your trunk for this one. So from here, you are going to reach elbow to knee and then reach the arm and the leg away. So elbow to knee, reach away. We're going to do 5 on one side, 5 on the other, and keep swapping from left to right. Now, as you bring that elbow to the knee, get that crunch, get that flex into those abdominals. Okay, just so they are really working nice and high through that leg and that arm. If you want to do more than 5 and really overload one side, you're more than welcome to. Lovely. So keep that head held high. Make sure that you're not slumping and dropping that head down towards the floor. Make sure that you and not overarching through your spine as you raise and lift through those arms and those legs. When you get back to your first side, last round left to right. When you've finished, all the way back into shell stretch. So sitting back on those heels, reaching right through to those fingertips. Then coming up. Holding on to one of your weights, we're back into a 4-point kneeling position. We are going to shoulder press with a single arm. So you're going to, surprisingly, these are really, really hard, but they look really easy. So you're going to put your arm to your shoulder, and you are going to reach away. Arm to the shoulder, reach away. You are going to do 5 on one side, 5 on the other, and keep swapping from left to right. Try and keep, as you reach away, that arm nice and high. Okay, so don't have it down here, nice and high, and then return. So I'm on my I'm on my first side again. When you come back to your first side, last round, left to right. See, even I struggle with which side I started on first. Hopefully you guys remember better than me. When you've done that 5th one, again, back into shell stretch. We're going to off-center shell stretch this time. So all the way back, taking one arm over to the one side, placing the other arm on top. So you're going to feel this stretch more so down one side of your trunk. And swap into the other side. And then I know how you guys love me. We are going to finish off with press-ups. Right, we're going to stick with what we normally do. Remember, this is the last little bit of effort. I know we're going to be tired through our arms, but I'm sure we'll be able to just put that last little bit in. So we're going to do 3 sets of 10. You've got options. You can do box press-ups. You can do press-ups against the wall if you really need to offload from gravity a little bit more, or you can do half press-up position. So if you're doing box press-ups here, make sure that your nose goes in front of your hands. Try not to put your nose between your hands here, okay? It's not going to load through your chest, through your pectoral muscles. So you need to get your breastbone between your hands as you press. If you're in a half press up position, it just goes in the right direction anyway, so don't worry too much about it. So remember, you've got the option of the wall if you need it. First set of 10, 3, 2, 1, go. So range is everything. You don't have to go all the way down. Just bend those arms to what you can push against and what you can get back up again with. Lovely. As you come back off those hands, give those wrists a little circle. I know that some of you are a little bit uncomfortable around those wrists. Little shake, little rest period, straight back into it again. Next round of 10, 3, 2, 1, go. Well done. Surprisingly, they always get your heart going, these ones. Last little bit of cardio to finish off with as well. So last round of 10, as I say, short rest period. Last one's coming up. 3, 2, 1, go. Well done, everybody. All the way back, shell stretch central. Reaching through to those fingertips. And then if you can, try and bend the elbows, bringing your hands between your shoulders. And you should feel that really nice stretch into your triceps. If you need to widen through your knees a little bit, you can do. But trying to shuffle those elbows a little bit further away from the body, so you're feeling that lovely stretch down the back of those arms. And then when you're ready, very gently coming back up into standing form. So curling over onto those toes, all the way back up into standing. Oh, a little bit out of breath myself there this morning. Placing your feet hip distance apart, double knee bend. Sweeping those hands into the centre, all the way over the top. And last one. And relaxing down. Everybody, thank you for joining me in that class. A lot of strength work in there. If you are sore tomorrow, please make sure that you are stretching out the areas that feel a little bit sensitive. But remember, those areas are going to get a lot stronger when they feel that way the next day. Please do take care, everyone, and I will see you again at one of our other classes.